Right now, Prince Harry is in the United Kingdom. Not for ceremony, not for nostalgia, and certainly not for approval. He is there for something far more uncomfortable for the British media establishment: accountability. The moment his presence was confirmed, the familiar media machine roared back to life. Headlines appeared almost instantly, pushing the same tired narrative that has been recycled for years, that Harry is unwanted, unsupported, and somehow fighting a battle no one asked him to fight. According to these outlets, the public is tired of him. Britain has moved on. He should stop, stay quiet, and disappear. But as always, the problem with propaganda is that it collapses the moment it collides with reality. If the public truly didn't support Harry, the streets outside the court would have been empty. No cameras, no crowds, no anticipation. But that is not what happened. Instead, people gathered early. Some stood quietly. Some waited patiently. Photographers positioned themselves long before Harry arrived. Members of the public lingered, hoping to catch a glimpse of the man the media insists nobody cares about. This contradiction alone exposes the lie. You do not camp outside a courthouse for someone who is irrelevant. You do not dedicate wall-to-wall coverage to someone who has lost public interest. And you certainly do not flood news feeds with constant updates about a man the public has supposedly rejected. The truth is simple and inconvenient. Harry still matters. While Harry stood firm in London, something else happened, something the media quietly ignored. Other senior royals suddenly vanished from the spotlight, conveniently relocating to Scotland under the familiar umbrella of work engagements. The timing was not accidental. When Harry is present, attention shifts. Comparisons begin, questions emerge, and the contrast between action and silence becomes impossible to ignore. Harry, walking into court to challenge powerful institutions, does not flatter those who chose comfort, settlements, and silence. So the spotlight stayed on Harry because it had nowhere else to go. This lawsuit is not frightening to the tabloids because of potential damages. It is frightening because of precedent. For decades, large media institutions have operated with the understanding that power protects power, that individuals, no matter how famous, will eventually break, settle, or retreat. That time will bury misconduct. Harry is refusing to play that game. By continuing to pursue accountability, he is threatening to reopen conversations the media desperately wants closed about phone hacking, unlawful surveillance, harassment, and the casual destruction of human dignity for profit. This is why the tone is so aggressive. This is why the attacks feel desperate. This is why the messaging is so coordinated. Then something unexpected happened. A radio segment aired featuring Jeremy Vine, a host not known for sympathy toward the Sussexes. Normally, such platforms amplify criticism, skepticism, or dismissal. But this time, the callers hijacked the narrative. British callers, real people, unscripted voices. And what they said was devastating to the media storyline. They didn't mock Harry. They didn't accuse him of whining. They didn't tell him to stop. They supported him. One caller asked a question that instantly reframed the entire discussion. Have we learned nothing from the death of his mother? That question cut through decades of revisionist history. Princess Diana was not treated kindly by the press. She was pursued, stalked, humiliated, and relentlessly intruded upon. And when tragedy struck, the media quickly pivoted, rewriting its own role in the story. Harry lived through that trauma. He grew up watching the same institutions repeat the same patterns, only this time targeting his wife. Another caller articulated something the media deliberately ignores. This case is not about privilege. It is about principle. If newspapers invaded privacy unlawfully, they should be held accountable regardless of who the victim is. The law does not stop applying because someone is famous. And this is where Harry's role becomes uniquely important. Most ordinary people cannot afford to challenge massive media corporations. The cost alone is enough to silence victims. Harry, however, can continue, and by doing so, he is forcing scrutiny that benefits everyone. This is not self-interest, it is systemic challenge. As the callers continued, one truth kept resurfacing. The British media drove Meghan out. Meghan Markle arrived in the UK hopeful, committed and ready to serve. What she encountered instead was hostility masquerading as journalism. She was criticised for breathing, for existing, for being confident, for being different. Her actions were framed through malice, her intentions questioned relentlessly, her humanity stripped away headline by headline. And when the same institutions now question why Harry is protective, the hypocrisy is staggering. Protection is not paranoia when harm has already occurred. The public is not blind. People notice the contrast. Harry did not accept hush money. Harry did not trade silence for comfort. Harry did not dismiss his mother's suffering. Others did. Others settled quietly. Others cashed checks. Others went on television minimizing Diana's fears. Harry fought, and he secured an apology acknowledging wrongdoing against his mother. That distinction matters. If Harry truly lacked support, the coverage would be minimal. Instead, it is obsessive. Every movement documented, every expression analysed, every photograph recycled, even by those who claim to despise him. They cannot look away because public sympathy is no longer where they want it to be. The more people hear unfiltered voices like those callers, the weaker the propaganda becomes. Perhaps the most uncomfortable outcome for the press has been the visible support from British citizens themselves. Commentators expected hostility. Instead, they encountered empathy. People understand something fundamental. Defending your family is not betrayal. Challenging abuse is not weakness. Seeking justice is not disloyalty. It is courage. This moment is bigger than one lawsuit. Harry now represents resistance to a system that thrives on exploitation. He represents the refusal to be silenced by wealth, influence, or intimidation. And whether critics like it or not, that resonates. Not because he's perfect, but because he's trying. Whether this case is won or lost in court, something irreversible has already happened. The myth that no one supports Harry has been shattered. The illusion of unanimous media authority has cracked. The conversation they tried to suppress is now public. Harry showed up. Harry stood firm. Harry refused to be erased. Prince Harry is not asking for sympathy. He is demanding accountability. And for that reason alone, history will remember him differently than the tabloids ever hoped. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you support Prince Harry taking on the abusive UK press? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video if you stand for accountability. Subscribe for more honest conversations the media avoids. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next one.